I think we'll get started and we'll let the folks join as they can. We're commencing the meeting of the Community Preservation Committee today, and the first order of business on the agenda is the meeting minutes of our 11/18 meeting. So if you want to take a minute and look those over, and then I'd be happy to entertain a motion.
They look very good to me, as always. I'd like to move that we approve.
Good. Is there a second?
I would second that.
Thank you, Elaine. I did notice that Mary and I were talking yesterday, and there's one correction. It's severance.
I think I sent them the corrected version.
Oh, did you? Thank you, Mary. Okay. Any other corrections or changes? Very good. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any noes or abstentions? Thank you very much.
Could we just have Bill C. and Donna identify who they are so I can put them in the minutes?
Do you want me to do a roll call vote? Is that what you're saying, Mary?
Well, I see, oh, here's Geraldine. No, I see Bill C. and Donna attending, and I just wanted to put them in the minutes. If we could, if they
Hi,
could.
Mary, it's Donna Rickman.
Hi, Donna. Okay, good.
Just sitting in.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine. I just put it in the minutes.
Okay, great.
Bill C., is that Bill
Yep.
Thompson?
Bill Comerford.
Oh, Comerford.
Okay, and welcome, Geraldine. Okay, so we have moved and seconded and approved the minutes of November 18th. The second item on the agenda is the coalition dues. Some of you have been around for a while and will notice that our dues have gone up a little bit. These are dues to the statewide coalition, and that's actually one of those good news stories. We are collecting more money, and the dues are based upon how much money you collect each year, and we've gone from the lowest rung to the second lowest rung. So did go up slightly. Would anyone like to move that we pay the coalition dues?
So moved, Michael.
Thank you, Michael. Is there a second?
Second.
Identify yourself, Mike. David. David is the seconding. And
Thank you.
any discussion on the payment of the dues? So seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of saying aye.
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 Any noes? Any abstentions? Thank you very much. The next item on the agenda is the Cdp Housing Institute, which started this past Friday, and the next one is in here. The next one is on. I don't know. Mary, do you?
I don't have that handy.
I thought I did, but
The April
I'm
one
sorry.
was the one that I
I'm
was
sorry, I have it
interested
here.
in.
It's March
Okay.
5th. March
Okay.
5th at 10 o'clock.
What's the topic, Gary?
Yeah, strange enough, Elaine, it's RFP.
Oh,
For those of you why I make that remark, we are getting close to issuing the 95 Lawrence RFP on the housing side, so that should be coming shortly. But anyway, it is about how to do an RFP and procurement. So I thought the last one was very, very good. And if you have a chance, you can go to CDP website and sign up if you aren't already getting an email, or we can request that you be put on if you'd like. Any other questions or comments about the CDP Housing Institute? All right, Mary, you are up. Money for warrant articles.
Okay, so the moving the money for the warrant articles, that's the spreadsheet.
How much money do we estimate that we have at this point, Mary?
So the fund balance is just so unknown because of the discrepancies here in accounting, that I did put fund balance on the very top line by itself as 500,000 based on what I had as a reserve, that would, not a reserve, a fund balance that would be available to us this year.
Mhm.
When I did the CP 1 and 2 forms with Jane Tesson, the form made it come up to a bigger number, but I'm not really, confident in that number until accounting has straightened out all the money situation for the town, not just us. And the auditor was working on it yesterday, and so were the accountants. So that was a little progress for us. But anyway, that's the money that is here that I can say 500,000 with, feeling comfortable with that. Meanwhile, the projected money on your bigger spreadsheet is $696,315, and that's the wealthy contribution and a 20% percentage from the state. That's a conservative number. We could go higher, but again, the accountant felt comfortable with the lower figure, the 20%, and so do I. So based on that number, we take the 34,815.75 for operations, the administrative money. That's in the warrant articles. Then the open space debt, there is still some remaining debt. This is the final open space debt, is $30,450. That's also in that administrative article. And then they begin a pretty significant reserve of $39,181.50. And they have some previous reserve money of $3,000, $73,774, and $2,616. So open space is building up a nice reserve for a future project. The housing money, these are 10% now. $69,631.50 is the reserve. So for the trust fund, actually I started with the Veterans Home because it was a nice, easy way to just take the 15,000 out of the housing 10%. And then to make to use the whole reserve, take 54,632 out of housing reserve, then go to the money that's in reserve for any project and take the 445,368 to make the total of $500,000 for the trust fund contribution. And that's going to be the new trust fund, correct? Or whichever trust fund is ready.
Well, assuming the June approval at town meeting, that'd be the new trust fund.
So it'll be the new municipal trust fund. So that there might be some wording that needs to be finessed on the actual article. The Veterans Home I mentioned is coming out of the housing reserve. Then the historic projects is $12,000 requested by the museum for better storage of the ephemeral artifacts. So that leaves them with a little reserve, or pretty good reserve, 57,632 for future use for historic purposes. And I guess I missed the Housing Institute. That would come out of the fund balance, 7,500 out of fund balance, because we've used the housing reserve. And finally, the recreation stage can only come out of the, it could come out of any project, but it's a little too much for it. So it's just easier for the article to be one source of money. And I made that the fund balance, $17,450. So we're spending $551,950, and you have a remainder for future use next year. And then there's still a little more money because anything not spent in administration, or you've got the any projects of 7,237 that will roll into fund balance. So we're starting off, next year we're starting off with more fund balance money.
So approximately 450,000.
Yeah.
Are there questions, Michael? What, I'm sorry, did someone have a question? No? So I want to mention that even though town meeting is being pushed to the springtime, strangely enough, we will be approving on June 5th these requests, or not, as the will of the people. But then shortly thereafter, July 15th, will be the date for the new proposals. Is that correct, Mary? How we
Well,
change that date?
if we have if we have anything that comes in, usually the July 15th is for a special town meeting, which I don't know about any
I
special.
don't know either.
October rather, would be the time for the regular next round.
So if
But-
you, I'm sorry, go ahead, Mary.
But well, if somebody had something in July,
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
at any time, they could present it, but it wouldn't come up until the next town meeting.
So we will be talking about the ones that have already been submitted, but if you and your groups are thinking about new submissions, if there's going to be a fall town meeting, it would be July 15th, and if not, it would just be the fall, October 15th, Mary?
October 15th.
Yeah, this fall. So this would be the time to be doing your work in anticipation of one or the other of those two dates. Are there questions about the budget? And as Mary spoke, the town is now going through an audit, which is an annual audit. It's not different.
Oh, no, this is a special audit.
This one is? Okay.
This isn't the annual audit. We have Lisa, I don't know her last name, up here working practically all the time. And she's working on the 2020 CPC money right now.
Suve is her last name.
Suve,
Lisa Suve.
thanks, Rebecca. Yeah. And accounting has been working on straightening out finances as well.
Okay. Are there any questions about the accounting with the budgetary numbers? If there aren't any, then we will move on to discussion. I think the next item is the actual discussion of the warrant articles. And I think here our intention is to record our vote for the town warrant.
If you're ready, yeah.
Yeah. So should we take them in order? Do you want to?
So the first one is the administrative one that covers the 5% for administration, the debt service, and the debt reserve, and the historic reserve, and the housing reserve, and then the budgeted reserve of the $452,604.75.
Okay.
That's the housekeeping one. We always start off with that.
Okay. Is there any discussion regarding that? Seeing none, I'd certainly entertain a motion to approve the administrative, we obviously don't have numbers yet, but the administrative warrant article.
So moved, Michael.
Thank you, Michael. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays or abstentions? Thank you very much. So the next one would be the Housing Trust Fund. And This is a request for $500,000. I think everybody knows, but just for the sake of accuracy, we began a new trust fund, which was approved at the last town meeting and is now in the process of being set up. We have Harry Turkanian has agreed to be the chair of the new trust fund, and we do have 7 trustees. Elaine and I are each one. We are in the process of setting up the rules regarding the trust fund and the use of that money. But this $500,000 grant is to fund that new trust with specifically an eye towards helping to support 95 Lawrence. But there are other uses that we could make of it, excuse me, depending upon how the trustees vote. Are there any
So
questions?
is that language okay? That should it be more specific that the new?
Rebecca, are you still here? No, I was going to say.
Man,
Oh,
Yep, I'm here.
Rebecca, could you put up the warrant articles now? We are on the one that says the Housing Trust.
Yep, give me 1 second.
Sure thing. Thank you very much.
I thought last time we did specify that it was the new municipal. Oh, am I just mixing up the actual vote for the going to the new municipal trust fund?
Elaine, what is the official name?
The official name is the Wellfleet Affordable Housing Trust, which every time I type the acronym, what theater comes up.
Yes.
Oh, right.
Thank you. So thank you very much, Rebecca. So that's the article in front of you. And Mary, are you asking about the explanation or the?
Just the wording, but I guess you could vote subject to any revision of wording that town council or the town.
Sure.
Yeah, but it definitely should not have the word fund in it. It should say the Wellfleet Affordable Housing Trust.
Okay. I think I probably got that from the application.
Mhm.
Also, up there in the title part, the $500,000 was just for my own sake. But
Yeah.
up in the title part, to take out fund there.
Mhm.
Okay.
And in the last line of that first paragraph.
Yes.
Yeah, I got that one. And then down below in the explanation,
There isn't technically one affordable housing committee. You could say the housing committees or the housing advocates.
advocates would be good.
Well, we're official town committees though, so
Yes, that's
Okay, committees
I think
plural.
it'd be better. Yeah.
Well, I could name you the Affordable Housing Committee in the local partnership. Local housing partnership. Just committees.
well, it would be it's the affordable. Yeah, just committees, I think would
Yep,
be
okay.
easier. Okay. Any other comments or discussion that we have? Then I would certainly entertain a motion.
Moved, Michael.
Thank you, Michael. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you very much, David. Any other discussion? Seeing none, let's vote on it. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any nays? Any abstentions? Thank you very much, folks. The next article is, if you could change it, Rebecca, to the Veterans Home. The next article is the Veterans Home. I think everyone was here for that presentation. Next one. Thank you very much, Rebecca. This was a request that we approved in our discussion for $15,000 to support that effort, noting that we were very enthusiastic about it, but would really look forward to having one closer than, is it Brewster? No, it's Dennis.
Dennis.
Yeah, Dennis, excuse me. So are there questions about either the wording or the intent of this? Seeing none, anybody want to move this?
So moved, Michael.
Thank you, Michael. Elaine, I see your hand up. You want to second it?
I'll second.
Thank you very much, Elaine. Thank you, Michael. It's been moved and seconded. Are there any other questions or discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the votes. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any nays? Any abstentions? Thank you very much, folks. I think it's a good cause, and I think they're moving along actually on their.
Yeah, I was going to save that for the other
Oh,
discussion
all right, I'm sorry.
projects, but they had their ribbon cutting and I attended virtually.
Oh,
And
very good.
very excited that their first set of people include 3 women. And
Oh,
Oh, terrific.
great. That's great.
yeah,
I think one of our concerns was both women and whether that it was only for senior veterans, but what we understand, it's veterans of all ages.
Good.
Okay, the next one, Rebecca, if you would put it up there, is the Housing Institute. And this is the one we just discussed. This is one we've supported for the last few years. I'm always amazed, but it really is open to anybody, and especially any town committee member. And it's very useful. Frankly, it's very useful in whatever area you're in. That they go through a lot of basics about advocacy and the laws associated with that, and how funding is happening, et cetera. Are there any questions about the language here or the purpose? If not, then I'd entertain a motion.
So moved.
Move, Michael.
All right, well, this time we'll have Elaine move it, and Michael, if you would second it.
Second, yes.
Thank you very much. Any other discussion regarding the Housing Institute? Seeing none, call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you very much. Any nays? And any abstentions? Thank you very much, folks. The next one is for the museums, for the artifacts. If you remember, this was to build a special place to keep some of the historical documents and materials. And it was a, excuse me, a request for $12,000. Any questions regarding this? Any discussion regarding the wording of it? Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion. Who'd like to move the historical? Tom, you want to do this?
Yeah, I make a motion to approve this.
Very good. Is there a second?
Second,
Second.
Michael.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any noes? Any abstentions? Excellent. So the last one is for the stage at the pavilion at the ball field. If you'd put that up, Rebecca. Thank you. Okay, so this, if you recall, this was for the movable stage. They reduced their request from their original number based upon the fact that they weren't going to get the storage unit and that the DPW had agreed to keep it over the winter, to store it over the winter as needed. So this is a request for $17,450. Does anyone have any questions regarding either the language or the substance of this request?
Gary and Mary, it's probably not significant when you say, but to do or act anything thereupon, is that pretty standard language?
That was standard language from the last warrant.
So we're not authorizing illegal activities or anything?
No, that was.
Michael, are you referring to Elizabethan times, and are we going to have women participate in this?
That wasn't my reference, no.
All right, just checking. Good.
I think I need to say the grant agreement in between. I think I need to add that other clause and authorize the select board to enter into a grant agreement. Even though they're simply going to buy the thing and put it up, and town council doesn't actually insist upon an agreement. We do the agreements for the sake of time and CPC awareness. So I'll add that other clause to enter into agreement, not with the select board, just to authorize the town to enter into an agreement and set forth the terms and conditions thereof, or do anything, or do or act anything thereon. Does that sound good?
Hey, Michael? Does that meet your
Well,
need?
whatever the appropriate language is.
Right. So just for everyone's information, so after we pass it at today's meeting, we'll go to the select board, which officially doesn't change the language, but they do produce they vote for it to be included in the town warrant. And it may change slightly in language. And then
Council would change.
well, I'm just going to say then the real substance is not the description below where it says summary, but in the motion that is made at town meeting. And so that will be crafted by town council. It may change marginally. Okay, so this is a request for $17,450 to buy and have a portable stage at the ball field. Any other discussion? Oh, have we moved it? I'm sorry.
No, we need a motion.
Okay. Who would like to move this?
I so move.
Thank you. And is there a second?
Second, Michael.
Thank you, Michael. So moved by Bob and seconded by Michael. Is there any other discussion regarding this? Seeing none, I'll ask for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any nays? Any abstentions? Thank you all. So again, this will go to the select board next, and we'll see when it will go on their agenda.
If you're ready, I can have it on the agenda for March 9th.
I was going to say, I don't know,
Sure.
if it's, when will the warrant close, Rebecca, this year? Now that it's June.
It's supposed to be, I think 60 days before town meeting. So probably
Beginning of
April. Yep, beginning, middle of April.
Right. Okay.
So
All
would
right.
you like Gary and me or some representatives at that meeting?
Yeah, that would be great.
Let
Because
us know.
usually they like to ask questions.
Sure.
And if they're not there, they tend to not vote on it. So your best bet is to be there so that they can ask you questions and then they'll move it.
Would they like the whole applications for their packet as well as the articles?
I'm going to go with yes.
Okay.
As much as I know it's a pain, I know
No,
they like it.
I have them
all-
electronically.
Oh, perfect. Then yeah, if it's
Yeah.
not too much to ask, that'd be great.
Okay. Any other questions regarding the warrant articles? Okay, next is the needs hearing that we held. And do you want to report on that, Mary?
Well, it went well. We did have one additional need that not Curly. He suggested one more for the Native American women buried on Great Island, that some better, more fitting memorial be made. That's a specific project, but we've mixed goals, needs, and projects. However, we need somebody that would then want to do that. But that was, that was good. We had some interest in, additional needs, and that's the purpose of the hearing. And then we did the preview of what was coming for the applications. If Gary wanted to talk any more about that.
No, I think it was straightforward. I think the
Yeah.
The burial ground was under the historic needs, if I remember correctly, Tom. If we haven't, I think we made that change, and it was Ryan Curley who
Ryan, yes.
Yes, who brought that up, and we went to him for approval of the language, and it was approved, and then we added it to the needs list, so that Tom is one for the historic list.
Would that also perhaps go to the cemetery committee?
Well, the cemetery committee isn't one of our, our needs are based upon the CPA definitions of the historic and open space and recreation and housing.
Yes, no, I understand that, but I'm saying that if the cemetery committee were notified that an application from them would be within our goals,
Sure,
that might be helpful.
I don't think there are any remains. I think it's just that they would like a memorial, because the memorial that's there has some language that isn't correct. But it wouldn't hurt to notify the cemetery commission.
That's a good observation, Michael. Thank you. Mary, will you take care of that to notify the cemetery commission? Thank you very much. I also want to welcome Jan. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. Okay, so the hearing otherwise I thought was fairly straightforward.
I thought, well, it was received.
No, I mean, I think there was interest, but mostly it was affirming in their comments.
And it is available on the website.
Right. Talking about the needs hearing, if I can't recall, but if that was the meeting where we were like the last item on the agenda.
Yeah, we were up there.
So Rebecca, if in fact we get on the 9th agenda, can you use your influence to put us earlier on the agenda?
Yes, I can.
Thank you very much. Okay. So any other questions about the needs hearing? All right. Report on projects and concerns. Mary, any?
Well, I think I mentioned about the Dennis Veterans Home, but I had an interesting call from the Provincetown Banner last week, and they wanted to know if Wellfleet had received an application for a request for the Cape Cod 5 housing project in Orleans. Evidently, it's Penrose that did the Eastham house project. And, they told, I guess the Banner was just collecting information about towns. So it's more of a future concern than an existing one. Perhaps they'll be coming to us on the next round looking for a contribution they did for the East one.
So just as an FYI, the project in Orleans they're taking over the old Cape Cod 5 facility. And Elaine, are they turning that into affordable housing with a specific purpose?
I can't remember. I think it's like 65 potential apartments. It's probably, a combination of affordable and market rate. I think it's in the pretty early stages. We may get a request from Truro and Cloverleaf before we get
Right.
one from Orleans, because I think they have to ask when they're closer to getting their funding. And then after that, we'll be coming back for 95 Lawrence Road. So,
Well, the reporter said they had made the ask already in Provincetown, which was the farthest away.
ah,
Huh.
I guess that was why.
I think this
Julia-
is to purchase the building.
Oh, maybe.
I think, yeah, because I think Penrose is in discussion on purchasing it. So it could be that's the first thing. Yeah.
So has a developer already been designated and they could purchase it, or is this just we don't know.
I think in conversations, they convinced Penrose to buy it,
Oh, excellent.
to really, take it out of the town's purview in a way, to have
And I think that's also in the area in which they're hoping to put in wastewater treatment. So that would go along with that. Jan, you had your hand up. I'm sorry.
I did. Going back to the veterans, probably you all saw it, but I think it's worth mentioning that building is open now. I saw that in the paper. I thought it was really very interesting that there are 4 women veterans
Right.
that are going to be in there. And that made me especially glad that we had contributed some.
No, wait. Better, we feel better about it that there are women there as opposed to just men.
I do.
Okay, so we'll acknowledge that, but maybe not note it. But Mary had already made the mention of that. So, but no, we're absolutely glad to hear that, and that they've opened and are servicing that community. All right, other areas of interest or concerns, reports. Mary?
No, I don't have anything else. Nothing else has been happening, except maybe the historic inventory, the Form Bs that they switched to Lynn's mileage at some point. Tom, if you're happy with Lynn's work.
Yeah. We about a year ago, we went out to bid, and if you remember, those Form Bs were priced at about $300 for a few years, and Lynn came in with a bid of $220. So the town took it upon themselves, and they gave Lynn she had all the credentials to give the contract to Lynn, and Lynn's been very, very good, very, very good communicator, works with us all the time, and is very timely in this time frame. So
Right.
very pleased with her performance.
This is Lynn Southey from Wellfleet?
Smilage.
Lynn Smilage. Brewster or Dennis, I think she's from, I forget.
But someone in the local area, which we're always happy to be.
Yeah, local area. And then she brought on an intern.
Terrific.
Elaine, I think, was that your intern? Was that? Yeah, so we're also, Gary, educating a young adult to get into this field.
Who is that, Elaine?
It's a young woman from Brewster, Sarah Weller, who's doing online graduate work in archives and genealogy. And Lynn she's loved working with Lynn, and Lynn kind of gave her the more biographical parts of the history. And so Sarah's been writing these amazing editions, which I think Lynn supported having those published along with the solid info on the houses. So it's been wonderful.
Oh, terrific.
Sarah is now a complete Wellfletian.
They are wonderful. And Tom, a bag full of 2 sets of Lynn's work, which I think is filed in the Macris at the State Historic Commission, appeared in the town hall mailroom, and I rescued them, and they're in my office.
Oh, great. Terrific.
So I
Thank
think
you.
one is maybe for the library and one is for the historic commission. There was no letter. They just mysteriously appeared here.
Mhm.
I need to tell Lydia.
Okay.
I mean, I can bring them to her. You can actually come into town hall by appointment if anybody would like to pick them
You
up.
know,
Okay.
that might be a nice service that we could provide, Mayor, if you don't mind, is if any of you, your committee have the mail file upstairs at Town Hall, maybe we could check them for you periodically, since Mary is there on a regular basis.
Oh,
So,
that's a good idea,
yeah,
because
so let us know.
I haven't looked at other boards, but
Right.
I look at community preservation.
We in housing have been somewhat remiss. We occasionally go in and say, oh my God, there's a bill. Yes, Tom.
Yeah, Gar, I would just say to the team here, this internship
Yeah.
really works. And if you find dedicated young adults that want to stay in the area, I know jobs are difficult, but it gives them another item on their resume. And they really learn some interesting stuff. But more important, Lynn, with the knowledge, is just taking it from herself and giving it to somebody else. It's just very rewarding. I've seen that last year when we hired that young individual. I mean, she moved away. There was a girl from Ohio, but we hired some interns in the Shellfish area, and these young adults, found a way to stay in the area instead of moving off the Cape. And now this one, hopefully with Elaine's help, Sarah, stays on the Cape. It's just a remarkable way to get these young adults to find employment, et cetera.
Thank you, Tom. It is, remember, we discussed this, probably a year ago or more, and especially this was pre-pandemic, but in the current times, anything we could do, I think the CPC would look very favorably on proposals that had a component that we were supporting interns and local population.
Agreed.
Tom, can I ask a question?
Sure.
So the last time around, the state was quite belated in its actions, and that messed up a lot of the stuff that's being done here. Given the pandemic, is the state even further behind, or are they keeping up, or are they caught up?
The state, according to Lynn, I think you're referencing the Form Bs. They're about a year behind putting them on the website, which has caused some problems, but we caught up with that. It was the difficulty between, Lynn taking over and not knowing what was at the state, and with the pandemic, you didn't realize they were a year behind. We asked the state in a polite way to just communicate that stuff to the local towns that you're behind, because it does. After we explain what happened to them, they agreed that they'll communicate better. So that's where we are on that, Michael.
Thank you.
Great. Any other updates, Mary, or concerns?
That was it.
Hey, one last thing, Garrett. I don't know if I told the committee this, but with Lynn's relationship with the state, don't quote me on the number, but I think we got 40 Form Bs done free. When I say free, the CPC didn't pay for it. The state had some extra dollars.
Oh, terrific.
So they paid for it.
Great.
It was 30 or 40.
I will, thank you, Tom. Anything else on the story?
No, that's it.
Okay, I did want to tell you that if you recall at the September town meeting, we approved emergency housing assistance for pandemic impact. And I will report to you that that has been a lifesaver for some folks, some families. So it's being actively used right now. It's managed for the town by Homeless Prevention Council, and they're doing a good job. But without that, I think some folks would really be even more troubled than they would otherwise be. So it's been successful, and it's all going, in the current situation, it's all going to families with children. Okay, anything else on reports and concerns?
Bill Comerford, I have a question, and I don't know if I'm out of order.
Technically, well, why don't you ask your question, Bill, and we can.
How does somebody get something on your agenda? I went online and I didn't see what the process is, or if somebody has a question, how to get a question answered.
So, Bill, I would say, Mary, do you have Bill's email, or
I don't.
can you share, Mary? Can you give out your phone number then for people to contact you, or is it someplace on the website?
The phone number here is different. The website, contact me through email.
Actually, Mary, I did. It was a while ago. It was in October. I was actually just looking to confirm one way or another if in this example, the cemetery was supposed to follow the 30B procurement policy. And when I went onto your website, the CPC, and it directs me to the coalition, which you guys are part of, I believe. In my opinion, it states that they are in fact supposed to be following the 30B procurement. So I just wanted either from you guys, either yes, they were supposed to follow it, or no, they weren't. I'm just looking for a simple yes or no answer. That's all I wanted.
Bill, I think we did send that request to the coalition, and the answer I believe that we got back, we can double check it for you, is that we, the CPC, aren't the monitors of that you have to go to the Cemetery Commission to check on that.
Okay, but let me just read one thing real quick from their site.
You know what?
We can listen to him, but we can't discuss it.
Right, I was going to say, Bill, I'm going to stop you and say, if you would just send us an email with it, and we'd be glad to take it up at our next meeting, rather than go off on a tangent on it now.
All right, and I appreciate it.
Sure, thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
No problem. Thank you, Bill.
Yeah, I'll look for the email. I don't recall getting any email from you. I'm sorry.
Okay. Let's not, go ahead, Bill, send whatever your question is to Mary, and we'll see if it's appropriate. We can put it on the next meeting agenda. Okay. Are there any other projects and concerns? Seeing none, I think the question is whether we need to meet again before June. How do people feel that? Can we wait until after town meeting, or do you want to have a meeting beforehand?
Maybe May one would be appropriate, just to be sure everything was going on.
We can certainly schedule a May meeting and see what we have in terms of agenda items, and if it makes sense, we'll have it. So do you want to propose a date for May, Mary? I can. Do you want to know what in May, the 19th is a Wednesday, or the 26th? We generally have them the 3rd or 4th.
So May 19th sounds good.
Okay. How does that fit for everybody? Right. God only knows what the world will be doing on May 19th. Right. Maybe we'll have to be a little bit more open. Very good. So the next meeting will be 9 o'clock on Wednesday, May 19th. And Mary will be sending out information about that.
And it's most likely still going to be virtual, but we don't know that.
Yes, probably. We will see. Okay. Any other items or concerns that folks have? If not, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second? Surely someone would like to second that. Janice is nodding. I'm going to say she's seconding it. Well, I hope everyone is staying healthy and relatively sane, and wish you well in the rest of the winter. Maybe
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Gary.
Gary.
Same thing. All those in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
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 Thank you very much, folks. Bye-bye.